Hey everyone, this is Chris O'Neill, and I want to welcome you to the internet's most successful blog at successwithchris.com. Tonight I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a topic that's absolutely amazing, and you really have to. I mean, it's a simple topic. You could say it in one sentence, really, but it's a difficult one to actually practice in reality. And the reason is because it's a little bit. It's very hard to change the way you think. And that's what this blog is all about, to change the way you think, right? So the topic come up in any book you read on success, anything like that, you'll find this topic. And a great one to talk about it would be The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. You can see that there. Perfect. So in that book, he talks about taking 100% responsibility for your life. And like I said, this is in all your books, but he has an equation there, which is E plus R equals O. And what that is event plus response equals outcome. Now, you can't change the event or what happens. You can only change the response, which in turn will change the outcome. You can't change the outcome once it happens. So you can only change the response that you take to any event. Now, it's really hard to do, and I can tell you right now, for me, I practice it many, ever since I've learned about it, I keep, it's always challenging, right? I mean, I keep struggling with it sometimes. You get in a car accident, somebody, runs in the back of you or something, is that really your fault? Well, it is and it isn't, right? And the event, probably wasn't your fault, right? Although you did choose to go out on the roads at that time, so it's partly, you could have stayed home. And I had this discussion with a class of mine once, and it was a bunch of college students, and it's really fascinating to see the, different points of view on that. And, people are saying, well, you can't be paranoid and stay home, and that's right. You have to evaluate risk with everything you do. And I'm not saying to stay home, I'm not saying to change what you do on a regular basis. All I'm saying is change your response to the situation. And I use the car accident example because it's happened to me a few times, right? Somebody's backed into me or somebody rear-ended. Actually, somebody ran in the back of my wife there a couple weeks ago. And, there's no reason to get upset about it. It happened. Move on. Change the response. The girl once backed into me, and I just got out and I just smiled and shook my head, and what you'll see other people go out and yell and scream, and does that really help anything? No, it doesn't, right? All it does is create conflict, and there's no point in that, right? So you really have to take responsibility for everything. If you're not successful yet, if you don't make $1 million a year, if you don't make $100,000 a year, if you don't make $50,000 a year, guess what? It's your fault. There's people with your exact, it's impossible to get your exact skills and qualifications and personality and everything all together, but there's people out there that have all the excuses you have, okay? And they make whatever it is you're not making, okay? There's, if you don't have the perfect marriage or the perfect relationship or whatever, you know what? There's people out there exactly, as close as they can get to you that have a perfect relationship, right? Why? Just the way they respond to different events, okay, is the only difference. So really, you have to practice this. Every time something happens to you, whether it be positive or negative, take responsibility and say, listen, what could I do differently today so that this doesn't happen again? Or what can I do differently today so that this starts happening for me? Okay? It's very important. This, and the reason I say it's important is because it is. Every single person I've ever listened to, every single person I've ever studied, and every book I've ever read has all said this. They all have their own point of views on everything else, but guess what? This is a very important one that everyone and none of them ever leave out. Okay, so you do it. Just get it done. Start taking responsibility. Like I said, it's very hard to practice. You'll have challenge with it. It's hard sometimes. But just remember, turn frustration into fascination, right? We talked about that the other day. But You have to take responsibility for everything that happens in your life. And that doesn't mean to become paranoid, but just realize, you know what? You could have prevented it somehow, right? Could you have prevented a car accident? You could have stayed home, but you didn't, so you chose to weigh some risk, right? And there's definitely risk to good things. Could you prevent an abusive relationship? No, I mean, there's risks in a relationship, but you can move on to the next relationship and get out of the one you're in if you're an abusive one, right? Or anything like that. So you really do have the power. It is your life, and you have to change it just by taking responsibility and accepting the fact that you can change everything that has to do with you, right? You can't change the world, but you can change you. And you can change your situation no matter what it is. Because there's people out there that have been in your situation that have done it. You can go to any bookstore and you can find a book on it. And that's only a very small percentage that would write a book about their experience. But a lot of people have done it. I know, like I said, I know millionaires that don't have a high school education. I know people that very successful, families that grew up in an abusive home, right? I know people that are very successful and they were in jail at one point, right? Multi-millionaires now, they used to be in jail. I mean, there's everything out there, whatever your background is, you can find it out there, and they have exactly what you want. A successful lifestyle that you deserve. This is Chris O'Neill from successwithchris.com, and I hope you start practicing this one because it's truly important. Take 100% responsibility for everything you do in your life. Have a great day.